All right. The last thing to note when you're adding real numbers that include negatives is you want to move left to right. And you might remember that way back from chapters 1 and 4 when we were talking about BEDMAS. And so if you have like three things to do here, we've got -5 plus -3 plus 5. We're going to start with the first two. So left to right, we do this operation first to get our -8, and then we add 5. In some cases, it will make a difference if you're going left to right or not. So you want to make sure you're doing it. Okay, now let's do some practice. So maybe what I'll do, I'm going to do this column on the left, and then I'm going to have you pause the video and see if you can do the rest. So this first one, we've got -4 plus -5. Okay, so we're adding two negative numbers. Our answer is going to become even more negative. And so that means it becomes -9. Okay, we haven't really done fractions yet, but we know how to do fractions in general. So in D, we have a common denominator, which is 2. So we're adding two like fractions, which means our denominator stays the same, and we add our numerator. Here we have -5 plus -3, which gives us -8. So we end up with -8 over 2. And as you might remember from fractions, we always want our answer for fractions in the simplest form. Here I could divide the top and bottom by 2, so I'm going to do that, which would give me -4 over 1, which is the same thing as just -4. Okay, G, we have 7 plus -5, so bigger minus smaller number. 7 minus 5 gives me 2. Take the sign of the bigger number, which was the 7, which was positive. And J, we have 0 plus -7. So we had $0 and now we owe 7. Well, that means we still owe $7. So our answer then here would be -7. Okay, so go ahead and try the next ones and then come on back and we'll do them together. Okay, let's try these next questions together. So -3 plus -7. So we're adding two negative numbers, we become even more negative, and this would be -10. Okay, let's continue going down columns, I guess. We've got -7 plus -9, so that would give us an even more negative number, which would be -16. -4 plus 9, so we have one positive and one negative, so we're going to do bigger minus smaller, so 9 minus 4 gives us 5. Take the sign of the bigger number, which was +9, so our answer becomes +5. Okay, 12 plus -12. Well, bigger minus smaller, I guess we can't really think of it as that rule. But we have $12 and then we owe $12. That means we have 0. So any number plus its negative is just going to give you 0. Okay, C, we have -5 plus -15. So our answer will be even more negative at -20. And now F, we've got some brackets here. So we know we want to deal with what's in the brackets first. Sometimes we use brackets here. So these round ones here are just there so you don't get confused with a plus and a negative in a row like that. So we've got -5 plus -2. And so those brackets are really just there to show that -2 itself is a number. And so we're going to deal with these brackets first. So we've got -5 plus -2 gives us -7. And so now we have -7 plus -3. Okay, and that's going to become even more negative. So we end up then with -10. Next one, -7 plus 3. So 7 minus 3 gives me 4. Take the sign of the bigger number, which is -7, and our answer is negative. So -4. And last one, we have a fraction again. We're adding like fractions, so our denominator stays the same. We can add the top numbers. We have 1 plus -1. Any number plus its negative gives us 0. So we've got 0 over 3. 0 over any number is just 0. So our answer here then is 0. And let's finish off with a word problem. Okay, so a vendor earned profits of -86.75, $111.50, and $123 one weekend. We want to know their total weekend profit. So we're looking for the total. In other words, we're looking for the sum. So you can do this in the order it's given. I tend to write the positive ones first. So I'd write 111.50 plus 123, and then plus negative 86.75. But you could write these in any order. You could put that negative 86.75 first if you want. And you can use your calculator. By the way, you can check all of your answers for all of these questions on your calculator. The one thing I'll caution about though is you don't want to use the subtraction button when what you actually mean is negative. So there's a different button to indicate that a number is negative. On my calculator, it looks like this. Okay, so it's a negative sign in brackets. It might look slightly different on your calculator. It might just look, well, it wouldn't look just like that because that would be subtraction. So check on your calculator. You should be able to punch this in. And so on my calculator, I'm going to do 111.5 plus 123. And then I'm going to go plus negative, so negative button, 86.75. And that gets me the answer of 147.75. So we'll say was the total weekend's profit. And that is adding with negative numbers.